welcome. I am Liberty Rose.
I'm Heather Soleil.
And I'm trying something different out on the channel. I am bringing a friend here who is an inspiration, who's here to share her story about her experience living in Costa Rica in the hopes of inspiring you to follow your dreams as she did.
Thank you.
Heather is somebody who's always doing beautiful things, always involved in tons of projects, and the kind of person you just see all over the place. And so she's got a lot of experience, and I think is going to have really interesting things to share. So
thank you so much for having me here today, and I'm so grateful to be in this beautiful space. It's amazing here, so we're enjoying the Pura Vida in Costa Rica, and the weather's so great. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you. So Heather, can you share a bit about yourself and your journey here?
Sure. Okay, so I have lived in Costa Rica now for 2.5 years. I moved to a few different locations here, and it's been pretty much pretty easy flow. And I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, in the United States. I am Irish American, so half my family lives in Ireland, half my family lives in the US, and I spent summers in Ireland and then the rest of my life growing up in New Haven, Connecticut, and where I was born and raised, and I lived for the last 24 years, I suppose, of my life with in that particular area of Connecticut, and but mostly my whole life there. And I came to Costa Rica for a trip that a colleague invited me to go to Costa Rica about 4 years ago. And I visited here 2 times, and then my heart really felt so relaxed here and so at peace, and I felt so aligned and so happy to be in such a beautiful, supportive environment. And I felt like maybe I can try coming to Costa Rica to actually live here. So that seed was planted about maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, and then I ended up coming here 2.5 years ago.
And what was your process in between those 4.5 and 2 years of were you like, oh, but I can't go there? Like, were there fears? How did you manage to clear away the stuff to be able to get you here? Okay,
so I guess it was sort of like a process, and still is sort of a process of coming more, following my heart, a process of really following my heart, listening to what makes my heart feel good and my nervous system. And also a higher knowing from my soul that there is more to life than than the life I was living before.
I think that's really key. That's what it was for me too. It was this calling of my soul that was saying, like, you can live a life of a lot more expansion and joy in all the ways. And I didn't feel like I could experience that back home. And here it's just like, Costa Rica is the land of possibilities. Like, there's just so many things so many different adventures and things that you can do.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and for me, I did come back and forth visiting here a couple times before I really made the final step and the leap. But once I put my mind to it and said, no, I'm not going back, then a bunch of things fell into place and aligned for me, and coming here, including going to retreats and sharing my gifts in retreats, ancestor healing, family constellations, in reciprocity, like a trade, so that I could go to these people's retreats here. So my first experiences of coming to say, I'm going to live here, were dropping into the retreat zone, actually, and then learning how to run retreats from my friends, and then in an exchange for my gifts at their retreats. And then after these 2 retreats I went to, then that's when I said, okay, I'm going to stay here. So I literally came with a backpack and a suitcase. I went to these retreats, and somehow I ended up just going to these beautiful retreats, sharing my gifts. And then so I was able to experience 2 amazing retreat facilities here as well that I look forward to maybe working with them more. And also I've been at many retreats in other places now, but the first one I went to was called Selva Harmonia, and then the next one was Imaloa. And then I moved here. So I went to these retreats. Somehow I got invited to come to these retreats, and then I went from there just to live here with some friends and my backpack and my suitcase.
So you experienced what a lot of people talk about as the synchronicity of just coming here and things just aligning in really magical and unexpected ways.
Yes.
I have to say, that's not been my experience personally, but that's because of my own personal hurdles and hesitations. But I think when you're ready and you're all in, life really just shows you, like, this is the way for you. So that's really beautiful.
Yes, and other things did support me in that process being in the United States, such as burnout. I was burnt out from my career, my job at the particular place I was. I was, but I love the career I have, and I still use it here. And also just being ready to experience something different in the world. And then the final things that really supported me were actually getting an Akashic record reading done by an amazing Akashic record person, doing an astrocartology reading by another amazing person, and then astrocartology, Akashic record, and drinking Kangen water, and opening myself up, like healing my cells, healing my nervous system, and really feeling like I had the supportive things in place of my nervous system, people on my sort of team, my social team, my spirit team in my life that were able to support me in this journey, and then also always relying on my spirit guides and ancestors, believing in my ancestors that they always have my back, and angels, and my sister, many people know my sister passed away, and I feel that she's an angel that's always like helping me from the other side.
That's beautiful. I've spoken about the importance of trust when you come here and you take the leap to jump to a new country that's foreign. There's such a need to trust, and feeling that you're supported, whether it's supported in the 3D or supported in the angelic realm, is so important. Mm-hmm. And also the health aspect that you noted. A lot of people come here and experience like a purge and a purification, because there's very much a cleansing energy to the land, especially if you're going in the rivers and you're eating well and you're connecting with the positive energy around you. And so aligning your body with the frequency of the place that you're wanting to go to will help harmonize your experience and ease the process, I think. Mm-hmm. So
thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I have experienced that as well here with all the health benefits of being here, eating healthier, being surrounded by clean energy frequencies, like no chemtrails in the sky, drinking clean water, fresh spring water. To be able to experience spring water and have fresh water for the first time in my life, I think is such an upgrade. To be able to actually drink what's naturally from the planet, and I never had that experience before. So just even that. And then rest, being regulated with my nervous system, with the rest and the cycles of nature. So going to sleep when it's dark, getting up early when it's light, and then being in the true rhythm of nature. Costa Rica, really allows you, if you let it, to let you rest and let you just kind of live in more of the natural rhythms of our cycle.
Yeah, everyone goes to sleep at 8 o'clock when they move here. It's like normal to say that you go to bed at 8 p.m. in Costa Rica, and then you wake up at 5.
Yeah, exactly. So. I'm like, oh, I'm going to bed, but it's totally normal. It's 8:30 or 9. I'm like, time for my bed. So, yes, that also happens, and also my cycles are more regulated. My woman moon cycle as well is more regulated here. Which is wonderful for me, just having something I can rely on in that way too, and tapping into my moon cycles and learning more about them even at my age, to be oh wow, I never was taught these things, and now I have an opportunity to learn how my body works,
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's been really nice as well. Yeah.
I also want to mention that I have launched a Patreon. So if you are interested in knowing more about my journey here, or supporting me on my path and learning about Costa Rica, or how you can come here yourself, please do check the link down below in the description box. And I really appreciate any support. So you were touching upon the retreats, and you mentioned it briefly, but what exactly is your medicine? What do you have to contribute to the world here?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of people that have experienced significant loss in their life, significant traumas, dramas and traumas, whether it's like loss or life transition issues or sudden things that happened that kind of jolted them, and a great awakening happened because of some type of a drama or trauma. And so I work with a lot of people who have had those things happen, and I really support them in the okay, what now phase, and a lot of people that are ready for something different after they've been through a lot of other things. And then I work a lot with, or I support women in their sovereignty, independence, and empowerment, and strength. So as women on the planet, coming into their voice, bringing in their voice and their power into their lives, or into their music, or into their work, or into their relationships. And so I do also work with the power of sisterhood a lot. So so those are kind of the cornerstones. And then ancestor healing, I also do a lot with believing in the ancestors are here to support us, and so leaning into our lineage as well as the strengths within our lineage. And then so the combination of those things.
So Heather is really an example of the quality people that you find here in Costa Rica, who are just very multifaceted and have a lot of skills, have a lot of knowledge, and are walking the talk, are an embodiment of what they want to see in the world. And so I think that this is why Costa Rica is one of the places on Earth where we're the seed of the new Earth, is because the people here are actually trying to really heal themselves, heal the planet, heal it all, so that we can actually rise into 5D properly.
Exactly. And another thing that I think is so wonderful about being in Costa Rica, or any country outside of your native country, is the ability to learn about a different culture as well, and really understand what's going on in the culture, and experience it firsthand. And Costa Rica is so beautiful because the people here are so wonderful. So the Costa Rica native people are so amazing and so loving and supportive, and they are very earth-based people. So they have a lot of teachings and wisdom in their medicine, their food, their earth, the way they are with their families, intergenerational support. They're so many families I know that are really working together in flow, in rhythm, in their family system, which is super different from the systemic family that I came from, which is more pick yourself up by your bootstraps, be independent, live alone, work 9 to 5, or work 40, work 70 hours a week, and all these things and all this stuff. So, and I love my family. I love my family so much. And I'm also so grateful to be experiencing a community here within a community. So the people who come here who are paving the new earth, but then also community of integrating with the people from Costa Rica is something that is really important to me as well.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about the gentrification issue, which definitely is an issue of all the foreigners coming here and raising the prices and making it so that the local people can't afford to live here.
Right.
What do you have to say about that? What's your opinion, or what's your advice?
Wow. I know that the more people that come, the more resources are being used. So I think it's really important to check in with those here who are building sustainably, who are into regeneration and permaculture, and they're really doing that, and they're integrated with the people from Costa Rica, and they're listening to what it is that's important to protect and preserve this environment. I've had the opportunity to meet with some people from Costa Rica who talk about reseeding entire forests here, and also protecting the animals, and working with the water, protecting the water. And there's many groups here that are doing that are activists as well, and they're educators within the Costa Rica community and within the expat community that are working together. And I think more of that, more education.
I think also coming here with the intention of giving rather than taking, giving back to the land. I mean, I believe we are all earthlings of Gaia, and that we can live wherever we feel called to live, that there shouldn't be borders in countries. And so that's kind of how I feel okay living here, despite the gentrification issue and the separation that there can be between the foreigners and the locals. I think that coming here really with the intention of giving to the land, giving to the people, giving from your heart, and not just coming here to benefit from Costa Rica. Of course, there are benefits, but it's all about what your intention is a good way to make sure that we can create more harmony in the ecosystem of it all, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, just listening, asking them what they want, what's important, how can we be helpful, and work in like symbiosis, like work together. This is their land, they're the experts, so it is ultimately like I kind of default to like they're the experts and we are here. So and I do believe being children of the earth and the universe, and we can learn from each other. We can learn from each other and support each other.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
What have been some of your challenges in living here?
Challenges. So there's some. So there's like there's so many things. I don't even know if I want to call them really challenges, but just learning curve. So I think some of the biggest ones are learning how to live more simply, living with less, saying, okay, I don't need as much as I have before, and being okay with that, and deprogramming from the system before, with the Western system that I've been in, where like very much consumers, having everything we want at our fingertips at any time. And here it's really like having gratitude. It teaches you gratitude for everything that you have right now. And so you plan things more around the cycles of the day. You plan to go to the market. You plan to figure out your route for the day and the week, and so that you can have the things that you want or need. You also might be planting your own fruits and trees and vegetables and everything to live from nature here. Some other learning curves have been just getting used to being in a different culture. Speaking Spanish fluently is really important to me. So like practicing, making an effort to do that, taking classes, taking lessons, meeting and trying and practicing with locals is very important. I think it's very respectful to speak the language in the culture that you're in, and it shows them that you care and that you try and that you're willing to participate with them. Some physical challenges I've had have just been like getting used to being in the humidity, and also with the taking care of my body, my skin and things like that, because here, like, we're in a living organism all the time that doesn't have like the cold, the frost, nothing really fully dies in terms of that. So then there's different things around us all the time in the environment, like, and I've had to learn how to work with that. And then also it's taught me more self-care, actually. Like, okay, how do I care for myself better? How do I love myself better in order to, I don't want to get sick from bacterias or whatever. So it's really, again, about that self-care, having a routine, sleeping on time, going to bed, having a routine, eating healthy foods, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our elders, our children, our families. And so, yeah, that's this place teaches you basically like everything you need to know about being a human, I feel like. Yeah. If you listen and you follow it, it's like, oh, okay.
Living mindfully, living wholeheartedly, and listening a lot more to your body, to the earth, to everything around you is how you're going to adapt more easily. If you come with an idea that you're gonna keep living the same life that you did back home, it's just not going to work for you.
Exactly.
And I think so many people leave Costa Rica after not that long because they just feel that it's not right for them for those reasons, is they can't adapt properly to the environment. There's a lot of changes that need to be made, and it's not don't expect to come here and live the same life that you were living in the US or Canada or Europe. It's another beat on many levels. Mm-hmm. And the more flexible you can be, And it's also delicious. Like, it's all beautiful things that you end up having to let go of. It's all for the best.
Yeah.
It brings you back to basics in a really good way.
Brings you back to basics, and I can't say enough about the abundance here of the fruit and the vegetables and the ingredients you can cook with. And certainly, if you eat any meat, there's like really fresh. Everything just is so much more fresh and more alive.
Actually, Costa Rica is apparently the number one country for pesticides in the world. So I don't want to, you have to be really careful where you get your produce from. But if you're consciously buying in the right places and you're asking, like, where does this come from? What has this been used with? You're choosing, then you can avoid them. Okay. But it is surprising that that's a problem.
I think, though, if you get organic or the farmer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Then, it's a lot healthier.
Yeah. I feel like way more healthy, and I feel that the food is a lot more nutritious.
Yeah.
The soil is richer, even if it's depleted, but it's depleted everywhere.
Right.
So it's like, it's a strange thing that there's that much pesticide use in a country where there's just so much abundance, but it's because of the biodiversity, which makes it actually quite hard to grow food. And there's so many challenges here in growing food that you don't encounter. Apparently, like, permaculture is a whole other level here.
Wow.
Than it is, in the U.S. to grow food, just because you have so many more challenges. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, that's good to know. Good information to know. I'm definitely going to buy more organic.
Yeah. What's your dream?
Wow. Well, I would really like to continue to support women, children, and families. Women, children, and families really is a big cornerstone of my work. And then also help people with, to be in service, I suppose. Always, like, for me, it's always like, I'm here to be in service. That's my thing in this life, is be in service. So, and usually that has to do with some type of supportive system for women, children, families, or death and dying, grief and loss. And I would like to have joy and fun in the process. So I am really calling in more support, actually, so that I have a toxic trait. My toxic trait is doing things on my own all the time. One that's really, really I'm kind of always been, if I'm just going to go do it, and I'm pretty headstrong, and I kind of am like, when I make my mind up, I can focus and get a lot done. But sometimes I realize now, okay, it's okay to receive, it's okay to rest, support is here, support is coming. Like, you don't have to do all these things alone, and you really can't. You cannot do them all, and you want to work with community, like, you want to work with others. And so that's something I'm working on, is receiving more a support for the bigger, larger creations. And to be able to also have more joy and fun in the process. So more art, music, dance as well in my healing modalities is what I'm working on as well. So I've been playing around with more creativity here with dance, music, and art for healing. So I find that a lot of my work as a social worker and therapist for 20 years was a lot of intellectually based. And I was always bringing in more of the creative things, sort of mindfulness, breath work, yoga, somatic work. And now, being here, I can even expand on that more, like even more bring in art, music, dance into the therapeutic realm. So that is also what I'm really grateful to be able to learn how to do more, and also to offer that in my retreats and offer that in the healing practices with people that I work with.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that it's so important to be able to ask for support. And that's actually why I'm bringing you on here, because I'm bored of just doing this on my own.
Right.
So more and more I want to expand, and it's just a lot more interesting to hear other people's stories and co-create and see what can come of it as well. So I appreciate your contribution. I think that your words are really inspiring, and just show it's interesting because you reflect a lot of the things that I've shared before on this channel.
Oh, wow.
Because I speak about just the beauty of Costa Rica and the abundance that's here. So you're reinforcing the things that I've shared, and that I hope resonate with the people who are listening, who are also seeking a better quality of life and a life of more abundance and freedom in different ways. So yeah, so thank you for
Wow,
supporting me
thank
on this
you.
journey.
Yes, and thank you for inviting me to come here also, because I'm also wanting to create more stories, and not stories, but create more visual content and social media about my story of how I came here, why I came here, and what I'm receiving from being here. And yeah, just getting my voice out there too to the world is new for me, and like being online and putting myself out there and saying like, hi, this is what I do and this is what I'm offering, and being in front of the camera. And it's funny because I have some resistance to that sometimes, and I'm like, oh, but it's not that hard. You can just call a friend and get together. Also just turn your camera on.
Yeah.
So we have these amazing technologies for a reason.
If someone wants to get in touch with you for a retreat or whatever, what's the best way?
Okay, you can look at my Instagram right now, which is called B as in B, BEE .sisters.oasis.
We will link it down below in the description box. Please like this video if you appreciated it, subscribe, and don't forget to comment letting me know if it resonated and what you thought about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.